I'm JD. They call me JD, but my name is John Davidson, and I appreciate this opportunity to speak with you today. I'd like to talk to you about the concepts and the strategies and what the VIP Coach Program is all about, and help you determine whether you're a candidate who qualifies for our unique coaching program. You know, I started this coaching program as an adult education service back in 1998. And I noticed that in that time, I was in sales and I was struggling through a number of different questions in my career. I'd hit a real high point in my career, but at the same time I had a lot of questions and I was gaining experience. I decided one Saturday morning that I wanted to create high-level performance. And specifically, I wanted to create something for, business owners and entrepreneurs and salespeople who were looking to make a huge jump in their career. Now, I didn't really know what I was doing. I saw that there was a huge need for this. I saw that there was a need for motivation. I saw that there was a need for accountability. I saw that there was a need for organization. I saw that there was a need for a whole nother level in business. The global economy in 1998 was coming about, and more psychological factors were going into the performance situations that business owners were having. So I decided, and decide means you murder the alternative, right? To decide. I decided that I would create a system, a methodology, a program, a set of concepts, strategies, principles, perspectives, and habits for business owners who were looking to make a whole new thing happen, that were looking to build up a business so that they could sell it, so that they would be able to build a team that would love their business as much as they do, so that they'd be able to coordinate well with partners in their business and align well around a common aim. These were some of the capabilities that got me excited, because not only that, these were capabilities that I needed in my career, so I wanted to re-deliver these to people who needed them as well. So I pulled together resources. I went out and I found people that had wisdom. I looked at my own wisdom. I looked at what I could bring to this whole thing. I started speaking immediately, and I started just putting this out there, and immediately I landed a couple of clients, because I already had clients from my sales career. But I sold them on the idea that they could be better performers. Tiger Woods has a coach, Steve Young has a coach, and I had a lot of nerve. I went out there and I started convincing people that I could do this. But despite the fact that I could do this, I wasn't really sure if I could do it. So it took me a few years to get my wings into this. Well, I've been at this for 10 years. It's now 2008, we're going into 2009, and I have created a coaching business. We have coached over 350 individuals individually in private settings. I have done over 10,000 hours in my business. I'm considered a master coach, and I'm really in the top 1% of executive coaches nationwide. Now, what does that mean to you? I think it means a lot to you to be thinking about making some serious changes in your career. Let's be honest. Do you really have everything firing on all cylinders? Are you really making the most of your business opportunity? Does it feel like that the day is just getting past you? You're working longer and longer hours? Do you feel like you've lost your enthusiasm? Maybe you've hit a plateau and you don't know how to get beyond it. You see, the people that come into the VIP Coach Program have some very common problems, but there's one challenge in their career that they're trying to get over, and all the problems in their business are a function of this one big, hairy quagmire, this anomaly. And I'm going to tell you about it because there's a real timing to this. So let me paint a picture for you. You go out into the marketplace and you go to a very simple school. You go to the school of getting checks. And you go out into the market and you either get a check or you don't get a check. And by over thousands of times, and maybe tens of thousands of times in your career, you begin to get experienced by collecting these checks. What's neat about this check school is that you learn when you don't get a check and you learn when you do get a check. And you earn when you get a check, which is nice. But every single check that's coming in has a little detail attached to it, has a little responsibility attached to it, has another thing to do, another bit of complexity, something else that you're responsible for. And over hundreds and thousands of times, inadvertently, the stuff begins to build up, the residue, all the leftover stuff you have to do, the paperwork that you have to do, all of the interruptions, the distractions that you have to be paying attention to, all these things that are coming up, and yet at the same time, You've got all these plans. You've got things on Someday Island that you want to do. You've got this dream. You've got that dream. All this ambition that's hit right up against all of that complexity. So enemy number one that we go after is the war on stuff. What does stuff mean? Stuff means stupid things you fire first. Stuff. The non-essentials that pile up because you're so successful. This is the war on complexity. And it's natural. You go out into the marketplace, you get successful, right? You collect those checks, they come in, and now you find yourself disabled, paralyzed, handicapped, unable to go out, and even if the next opportunity were right out in front of you, you can't get to it because there's so much stuff that you're just drowning in that you can't reach it. Your office feels like a snake pit. When you go back there, you feel like you're going to get bit. Does this sound familiar to you? Does this sound familiar to someone that you might know? Think of it like a growing cancer because it gets worse. So as the complexity starts to set in, then the isolation begins. And there's two forms of isolation. Number one, have you noticed that people won't really tell you what's going on? Your employees don't want to tell you what's going on because they fear their very lives. They fear their tenure. It's a scary time right now. Unemployment could be going up. They don't want to lose their job, so why should they tell you the truth? Your spouse, your friends, your buddies, are they really telling you the truth? They have very good reasons for not telling you the truth. So despite the fact that you'd like to get control of this machine that you're trying to drive, no one's really telling you what's going on. You're the blind leading the blind. Does this sound familiar to you? The second way you feel isolated, most likely, is when the complexity started to set in, you had no one to talk to. As they've said before, it's very lonely at the top. What are you going to do? You can't go to a therapist. You can't talk to them because they don't have business acumen. They can't talk to you about sensitive business topics. So what are you left with? You have nobody to talk to about your unique issues. Once the isolation starts to set in, then comes the confusion. I mean, have you noticed how fast things seem to be moving? All these new technologies, these new websites, all these new technologies and things that are coming about, how the heck do we keep up with them, despite the fact that we could be competitive if we did keep up with them? But you've got so much to do, you've got so much complexity, you feel isolated, you have nobody to talk to, you feel foggy and scattered. Every day has become a bunch of putting out fires. All of your thoughts and actions are organized by situations that are coming up. You just can't seem to get any traction on the new technology, so you're confused, let alone, my gosh, with all this work, suddenly your identity has become work. You've become prisoner of your own machine.